hello. Happy Thursday, y'all. And welcome to another episode of Bankroll Your Breeze Thursdays. I'm Nicole Jones, the Bankroll Your Breeze expert. Excited to be here with you every Thursday to do one of three things as we talk during our Bankroll Your Brains segments. One, to make sure you understand what your brains is. What is your purpose? Now, listen, I use the word brilliance because my goal for you is that when you stand in the power of your brilliance, that your light is shining so bright that others can see the gift that got placed in you, right? There's a Bible verse that Matthew 5:16 that says, let your light so shine among men and women that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So that's my goal, is that you understand what that breeze is so you can turn it up, right? Second area is the value tied to it. And the third is all the ways you should get paid for it. Because God's gift back to you is as you give and pour and be the answer He created you to be in this world, is that He brings abundance back to you. So every episode, I either come here to teach or I bring in a guest, and my guest is having technical difficulties, so I'm trying to help her. So I don't know where she is. She says she's backstage. I don't see her. I don't know where she is, y'all. So with that, let me send her a message. Hold on, y'all. Trying to be technical support. I don't know where my assistant is this morning. So, or this afternoon, it's 12 o'clock now. But for whatever reason, it's not working. Let me see if I have her, my guest. This is how you know this is live TV. And if not, I'll go in and teach about branding and what branding is and how you can use it in your business. And it looks like I'm gonna have to do that because I don't see her here. So with that said, let me just pour into you. So first, tell me name and where you're coming from. Tell me name and where you're joining from. I forgot to say that at the beginning. I see there's over 50 of you here live. So as my grandmother would say, don't come in this house and not speak. So at least tell me hello as you're coming in. And if our guest ever does find her way into the backstage so I can bring her in, I will bring her up. So with that said, our conversation today is all about personal and business branding. So our guest today is a branding expert. And again, hopefully she says she's backstage. I don't see her. I don't know if she's having technical challenges with her computer, but I'll teach you on branding. So I don't know what's going on, but she is not on. She's saying she left and came in 3 different times, but it's not working. So I don't know what to do. Anyway, let me just go ahead and talk to you about branding. So first of all, you got to understand a brand is more than a logo. Many people think branding is pictures and logo. And while that is part of a brand, you have to know that everywhere you go, there you are. And what many people don't realize is one of my favorite quotes by Dr. Maya Angelou is you never get a, well, this is not by her, right? People will forget what you said. This is by her. People will forget what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And so when you leave a room or when you enter a room, there is an impression that is made. I remember being in high school, I learned this quote that has carried with me. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Hi, Michelle and Antoinette. I appreciate y'all for saying hi. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And so that first impression sticks. So when you walk in a room, what shows up is the brand called you. What shows up is the brand called you. And so, what is that impression? What is the experience that people receive as you walk in the room, as you begin to do what you do? Whether you're an entrepreneur or you are a career person, whether you work a traditional 9 to 5, your brand stays with you. It's the impression that's left after you do what you do. So here's why it's so important. When you think of Nike, what do you think of? What do y'all think of? Anybody that's here, tell me what you think of when you think of Nike. Just do it. And beyond just the swish, you think of just do it. So Nike as a sports company, if you think about great athletes, Michael Jordan, who had Air Jordans, I can go on and on about various athletes. Michael Jordan had just do it spirit. So Nike, as that company began to grow a relationship with Michael Jordan, it extended its just do it spirit by the partnership of Michael Jordan. So you got to understand that when you do business with other businesses, it has to be in alignment with your brand. But if you haven't stopped long enough to define your brand, and even someone that I think has a phenomenal brand is Cynthia Marshall. Now, maybe you guys may not know who Cynthia Marshall is. She is the CEO, I think. Sorry, I got all kinds of stuff going on. CEO of Dallas Mavericks, right? And so, how she even got into that role? Because Cynthia didn't apply for that job. Matter of fact, she's the first Black woman that is running a NBA team. Okay, she didn't apply for that role. She didn't try to get that role. So, what Cynthia was a brand that had a great name that opened doors for her. So I read an article about Cynthia, so I'm not going to act like I know her whole story. Hey, Renata, right? I'm not going to act like I know her whole story, but I want you guys to get this. By the way, there's more people here, so keep saying hello. And if you have questions around branding, and I'll tell you why it's important for you again in a few minutes, but I want you to understand what I mean by brand, okay? Before we start talking about the importance of it in your business. And again, our guest today, who's a brand expert, can't, for some reason, is having technical challenges, so I'm pouring into you around branding, okay? So with that said, Cynthia Marshall, who had a 27-year in AT&T career. So Cynthia, who grew up, I believe it was Oakland, Northern California, let me say that, who had a challenging childhood. Her father was abusive, and she promised herself, her sister, her mother, listen, we're not going to grow up like this. We're not going to stay like this. And so I believe that spirit of wanting to be a helper, of wanting to support people that were in challenging places, hey, Dorothy in Mississippi, stayed with her. So much so that she went into college. Her major was human resources. And I might not be an exact major, but it was around human resources. I believe she went to UC Berkeley. She was clear that when she graduated from college, what field did she go in? Human resources. What does human resources do, y'all? So the one thing that stayed with her since childhood was that she wanted to be that support that no one would ever feel like she did, obviously personally and professionally. So she might have started as an assistant, but she rose in the ranks. She went from an assistant to move up to then be the head of HR, to then become the vice president of diversity and inclusion, to then one day be president of AT&T. So she retired after 27 years, thinking, okay, this is enough. I'm going to maybe do some consulting, maybe, but I'm going to kind of be leisure. So it was in her retirement that she got a phone call. She got a phone call from, well, I don't know if it's a phone call or text. I can't remember in the story. But Dallas Mavericks. Now, listen, this happened during, you guys remember the Me Too movement where the Dallas Mavericks had come out, a lot of their executives, a lot of the people in their organization had been doing things and being things that women had no business being. Let me say it like that. So it started to make the entire organization look bad. And so Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, knew he had to find someone that could stand in the gap for the women that work for the organization to not feel this way, to never have to deal with this again. And he had to get in front of all the bad PR on top of it. And so Cynthia's name came up. You know why? Because she's a brand. Her work spoke volumes for her. My question to you is, does your work speak volumes for you? Before you open your mouth, before you have to tell people, well, you start listing down your bio and your resume, does who you be speak louder than than words on the paper about you? So needless to say, Cynthia got the job. Well, first of all, what's so funny is I remember I was reading an article and she was like, who is Mark Cuban? She didn't know who Mark Cuban was because she's not into sports. And her husband and her daughter were like, you better call him back. Oh my God, Mom, he is the owner of. She called him back. The rest is history. She shifted that entire organization and is the first Black woman to lead a NBA team. And the reason she got this, she didn't apply for that job. She wasn't looking for that job. Her brand spoke up for her. Why is this important for you? Number one, for all of my highly skilled professionals, those of you that are in a career, and even those of you that want to transition into starting a business, which is why I hold this platform weekly, is to give you tools to start the right way. If you're not clear on, number one, what your purpose is, now I want you to get this. The thing that you're really, really great at and the thing that you love to do, when those two things correlate, those things are your purpose. So it's no coincidence that you're good at certain things and that you keep getting raises in your 9 to 5 and that you want to start a business around that certain thing. But wanting to start it and being clear on it are two different things. And when you're not clear on what your brand stands for, how you can move people to a predictable result, no one is going to hire you. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care if you have a PhD. I don't care if you've been in your industry for 20 years. If your brand isn't clear, like American Express, what do you think about? Don't leave home without it. Such a perfect brand, right? Because I don't leave home without mine. But if American Express was just do it, that wouldn't be good because you'd be trying to charge everything, which is not good, right? So I want you to really understand this for a minute and think about what's the lasting impression that you want people to have when they experience you. See, for me, I'm one part God's girl, I'm one part struggling comedian because sometimes I'm funny and sometimes I'm corny. But the third thing I'm unapologetically is purpose driven, purpose focused. And what I know is what I'm really, really great at, which is producing you. That's my gift. It's taking all the ways that you are brilliant and help you take that to the bank. It's getting clear, it's creating a blueprint, and then it's creating strategy. Some people do it in the wrong order. So, branding conversation is about clarity, y'all. It's about clarity. How many of you guys feel like you're walking in muddied water? Think about what that looks like. If water is clear, how many of you guys have been to Aruba? How many of you guys have been to uh, the Bahamas where the water is really, really clear? It's so blue, it's so beautiful. You can see the swim fishing through it, it's so clear. But then how many of you guys have ever been in a river or a lake and the water is so muddy? It's so dirty. You can't even see through the water, right? I remember kayaking with my husband and my niece through muddy water. And I was like, baby, if I fall in this water, it's going to be on and popping because it's so nasty. Whereas in Aruba or Jamaica or the Bahamas where the water is clear, oh, I don't mind falling in that water. Well, the clarity of that water is what I mean by how clear you need to be about your purpose, your one thing. That becomes the brand, that becomes the foundation. So here's where I think it's so interesting is so many people that I'm blessed to work with, when I first talk to them, they have this little slogan they use that is supposed to be what their brand stands for. Guess what? I had a slogan too. My slogan was I help women maximize their potential. That's so vague. So vague. No one hears what they need. That's that muddied water. So my brand was muddied down in some cute marketing language that no one heard what they needed from me. So what you got to do if you're going to have a brand that's going to last the test of time is number one, understand it's more than a logo. It's not about cute pictures. It's not about being famous and being broke. You can have all the likes on Facebook. But if you're number two, if your brand is not speaking to a predictable result, if people can't hear the predictability in what you bring to the table, they're not hiring you. A confused mind does not buy, doesn't. A confused mind does not buy. And so what happens is they go look for it elsewhere because if they can't hear what they need from you, they're out. So those of you that are being vague and saying things like I'm a business coach, I'm a health coach, I'm a real estate agent. And real estate agents, listen, you have a lot to offer, but you have more to offer than just to sell a house. Listen, when you go through real estate school, and I'm saying this because one of my clients is here, Renata, who's a real estate agent who helps women build wealth. There is a set of skills that you get in that industry that articulates to a predictable result for somebody that needs you. And when you start to stir up the gift, stir it up, stir it up. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. My husband's texting me. When I talk about stirring up gifts, we start to start meaning getting clear and creating strategy around it. Everything shifts for you. Everything shifts for you. And it allows you to serve more people, for your ideal client to find you, and for you to create a business that stands the test of time. Now, listen, many of you I know are in a place that you really, really, really have a desire to start a purpose focused business. So I know I don't have a guest here today because she couldn't get on technology. So we're missing Denise Kaigler, and I'll have her come back another time. But I'm going to walk you through a program that I open up enrollment twice a year. And this is my Brilliance Mastery Academy. So I'm going to show you a quick commercial, and then I'll come back, answer some more questions, and we'll talk a little more about branding, and we'll end this episode, right? Me going rogue and going off the dome and teach you about branding. So hang tight. Let me walk you through this commercial and see if this is an alignment for you. And I have a gift around it. So hang tight. I'll be right back after this commercial break.
I came because I wanted to develop my signature story, my signature program, and lo and behold, I learned so much more than that. I mean, everything from automation, the importance of automation, how it works. I've built out my own CRM system. My email list has grown. I have a signature program. I'm better at telling my story. I've gotten a lot better at negotiating my fees. My fees have increased.
And it just has made me really look at running my business and managing my business and growing my business in ways I had not thought about before.
Saying yes actually changed my life. You know, we do things to invest in education. We do things to invest in our retirement. We do things to invest in our legacy. But the one thing, especially us women, that we forget to invest in is who our being is.
I really, really love about Nicole is that she keeps it real. She will just let you have it in the most loving way, but she keeps it real and she pushes you to be your best. So I have been so excited to work with her. I've learned so much about how to start a business, how to grow a business, and how to market a business.
Know what should go out and when it should go out and what it should look like. How do I nurture the people that come in to want to now get to know who I was? And I got all of that and more working with Nicole Roberts-Jones. So listen, you guys know Nicole. She is going to be in your face, holding you accountable, telling you to do what you need to do. And she does that because she's already walked the walk. So she knows what you might need, and she knows how to maneuver, and she knows how to show you how to not make some of the mistakes that she may have made. And she does that because she really does want you to succeed. So that was my journey. That was my time working with Nicole, and it has really boosted not just my business, but it's also boosted me personally.
So that is Brilliance Mastery Academy. So I wanted to take that moment to have that commercial break because here's what I know. Many of you are at a place in your life where you feel this rumbling that God is leading you out to your next level. That next level for you may be to start a business alongside your 9-to-5. That may be to grow your current business. Whatever that is, I have a gift for you. So listen, you have to apply by today. Meaning you just have to fill out the application. And yes, there's an application process. So Brilliance Master Academy, 50% off only until end of day today. I'm doing that because some of you guys watch me live and some of you watch me the day up. I want to always award the action taker. So BrillianceMasteryAcademy.com, when you write where it says, where did you learn about Nicole, write Black Doctor. But all you got to do is apply by today. Now, you may not get an interview today, and that's okay. And yes, there is a whole application process. Why do I do that? Because I'm clear. I don't ever sell, I serve. And so if you're ready and you know now's the time to start your business the right way, or you've been in business and you haven't yet hit predictable revenue, it's usually because of one of three things, if I get it out. One, your brand is not clearly defined. Your purpose isn't clear. You're walking through muddied waters. So within the first 2 weeks of the program, we get you clear. Matter of fact, when you sign up, you get a coaching call with me. That's the first thing you get. And by the way, this is a 12-month program. It's like an incubator to really grow your business, right? It takes 12 to 18 months to really grow a business. So in the first 2 weeks, you're clear on your purpose. The next 2 months, we spend getting clear on the strategy that's going to help you create revenues, the revenue generation strategy. But the other thing is that same strategy is how you teach, how you coach, how you stand on a platform as a speaker. It's what you talk about in the podcast interview. It gives you the tools you need for whatever you will do in your business. I like to call that the vehicle that drives your business. And then we spend the rest of our time in implementation. What most people don't tell you is only 2% convert. So once your brand is clear, how do you grow a tribe that's ready to buy from you? Oh, I'm not going to just talk about it. I'm going to walk you through. We're going to implement together. So I'm going to give you tribe building strategies. Oh, by the way, my team builds out your back end for you. Most people don't tell you about the technology. Oh, and there's so much more. So go to brilliancemasteryacademy.com so that you can get the tools you need. And listen, once I walk you through this in this year, all you do is rinse and repeat the model I've told you over and over to continue to generate revenue for years and months and days to come. So if you know that's you, I look forward to serving you. And yes, you have to file the application and we interview you to make sure it's a good fit. And if this isn't a good fit, we'll make recommendations for something else. So if you know now is your time, I look forward to serving you in Brilliance Mastery Academy. So listen, again, our guest couldn't get on for whatever reason, technology's sake. But I hope you've learned something about the brand called you. Number one, a brand is more than a logo. Number two, it's the impression that people receive from you when they experience you. But number three, they've got to experience you. The greatest tool that we learned from Oprah is that you've got to be vulnerable. So you have nothing to hide, nothing to protect, nothing to defend. But the question is, are you willing to show it all? Are you willing to show the brilliance in you and then the breakdown? Because there'll be some things that you're really, really great at and some things you're not great at. Like I'm not good at technology, but that's why my team works for you, not me. I'll show you the technology you need, but my team coaches you and works it through for you. So I'm clear. I'm not everybody's answer. I'm somebody's answer. Are you clear? That's what getting your brand in alignment with your assignment is all about. So I hope that, again, our guest that was slated to be here, for whatever reason, couldn't get through technology. But, thank God I can roll with it, rock with it. So I just had a little conversation with you around your branding. And yes, it's important in your career because Cynthia Marshall, the example I gave to you, started in one whole different career, but her brand will stand the test of time. See, listen, when you die and we're at your funeral, what's the conversation people will have about you? That conversation's in alignment with your brand. It's how you're showing up. It's in your being. It's how you help people. It's the work you do. It's everything you do. Because again, when you show up, everywhere you go, there's you. And everywhere you are is your brand. So I hope that this quick conversation was beneficial to you. Listen, I'm always here for 30 minutes. 30 minutes because y'all are busy. I want to give you actionable insight as I bring guests on to pour into you. Again, I apologize. Our guest today couldn't get in for whatever reason. But guess what? Even if they can't get in, I'm always here to pour into you. All right. So I look forward to serving many of you in Brilliance Mastery Academy. The other thing I want to encourage you is to follow me on Instagram. I give ongoing tools, tips, insight all week long, every day, at least 2 or 3 times a day. So if you're not following me on Instagram, come on over to N Roberts Jones. My name is too long, so I couldn't write Nicole Roberts Jones, and follow me on Instagram. Again, if you know now is your time, then go and grab my 50% off gifted ends today. BrillianceMasteryAcademy.com. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you. And yes, I will be here next week for Thanksgiving. So I got a special message for you for next week. That's in alignment with that. So with that said, I look forward to serving you another week. I look forward to pouring into you and make sure nobody has questions. Nobody has questions about what I shared at all. Anybody? For our wrap? Any questions? All right, Paulette said, awesome. So with that said, y'all, if also one last favor I want to ask you. If this episode is giving you any value, hit that share button. Those of you that are here on Facebook, share it. Because you don't know who in your network has been wanting to start a business, has been growing his or her brand all the way wrong. And all I need is a little shift so that they can be the answer they were born to be in this world. And this episode might be the needle point shift that they needed. All right. So with that said, as always, it's my honor and privilege to pour into you. I don't take this time lightly. So until next week, for our next episode, have a phenomenal rest of your week. I'll see you. And yes, I'll be here Thanksgiving, y'all. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.